Some additional marks on the panel here. Those levers across the top, the gauges, show temperature, engine pressure, and transmission pressure. And those red marks are the acceptable levels, or the place you want to see those markers. If your transmission doesn't look right, if you'll put the engine lever slightly forward and slightly reverse, you should get that transmission to engage and the pressure should line up correctly. This video is going to be on how to start the engine. Before you start it in either location, you need to make sure that the start switch is on. In this panel, it's the middle switch. You've also got in this panel the main light switch and then the switch for the generator. Before starting the engine, in addition to the starter switch, you must also check and make sure the starter breaker is turned on. We're outside now, and we're going to cover starting the engine from the outside first. Wanted to point out that this is the throttle, and it takes care of shifting and throttle together. So if you want to be able to rev the engine without putting it in gear, you need to press this button in and move the throttle forward. That will make the engine rev without putting it in gear. It's a good idea to go ahead and slide that forward with the throttle button in when you start the engine to give it a little extra juice when the engine is cold. The starter buttons are located on the left-hand side of the wheel.
Contact.
In order to start the diesel, you need to press the contact button once, just in and out, and then press the start button. The engine will turn over and it'll start. And if you have the throttle slightly forward, you'll see it rev to about 1,000 RPM. Your RPMs are located here. Same process for starting the engine inside. Same throttle. Press the button in, pull the throttle forward so that it's in neutral, but you can rev the engine. So you can take it slightly forward before you start the engine. The starter's down here. Instead of buttons here, we have a switch. You turn the key forward until the engine starts. When you're finished with either, you're going to have to disengage the engine in both locations, wherever you started it from. So to stop the engine, if you started it here, you press stop and then turn the key to off. If you're stopping from outside, you're going to press the stop button and then press the contact button to finish the sequence outside. Some additional marks on the panel here. Those levers across the top, the gauges, show temperature, engine pressure, and transmission pressure. And those red marks are the acceptable levels, or the place you want to see those markers. If your transmission doesn't look right, if you'll put the engine lever slightly forward and slightly reverse, you should get that transmission to engage and the pressure should line up correctly.